Hi guys, my name is Brittany, welcome to my channel. I've been meaning to upload this video for quite a while now, however I have just got around to going through the GoPro footage, so bear with me. This is my full recording from the BIKC Heavyweight Regionals at Leicester 2025. This video consists of Heat 1, Heat 2, Heat 3 and the Grand Final. I did not end up recording the semi-final. If I remember correctly, nothing interesting really happened in that anyways, and my GoPro battery probably died, so yeah, you've just got Heat 1, Heat 2, Heat 3 and the Grand Final. However, quite a lot happened in this race, so enjoy. So just a side note, the driver defending very well in front of me is a very good friend of mine. His name is Damon. Damon actually ends up racing at Nationals this year due to receiving a wild card from his amazing driving skills and sportsmanship, so we love Damon. He's actually a Scottish driver, but he comes and qualifies at my local track, Manchester Victoria. So yeah, really good friend of mine, and this is a really good race between us both. He's defending really well, so enjoy. So that's Heat 1 finished. I ended up walking away with P2 for this race, and me and Damon actually got the exact same fastest lap time on that race, which is funny. So yeah, let's move on to Heat 2. Heat 2 was quite a lonely race for me since I'm just travelling in P1 the whole time, which I do end up finishing that race in, but it still is a fun race to watch, so I'll let you enjoy it. So that's Heat 2 finished. I finished in P1 this race, clearly. Well, I am really happy with this finish, but I know the day's not over. So as you can see, I start just holding onto my wheel and smacking it. The anxiety hits me, but yeah, it was a really good race. I'm happy with that finish. Yeah. So here we're obviously getting praise from Damon because he's amazing, and I thought I'd show you how they weigh us after the races as well. Every driver has got to get on the scales and they weigh you after the race to make sure that you hit the minimum or maximum weight, and I forgot how much I weighed at this point in time. 94 odd kilo. Big yeah. Obviously I've got gear on, but still, that's heavy, damn. Let's move on to Heat 3. So Heat 3 was quite a low finish for me. I ended up finishing 5th on this race. I started 5th and I'm finishing 5th, but my kart was insanely slow. And in front of me with the white helmet is my friend Sam, who raced really well on this race. And he even says at the end that he should have let me through, which no, Sam did amazing at this race and we had a really good battle. So yeah, I'll let you enjoy. So obviously we finished this race with a handshake from Sweet Sweet Damon, and yeah, I'm finishing 5th in this race. I'm not happy, but it is what it is. Sam comes over to me and gives his speech about how he should have given me the position, but no, bless him, he was amazing. We love you, Sam. Hope to see you again soon. But yeah, that race gives me a P2 start in the semi-final, and I ended up finishing 2nd in the semi-final, but since there's 2, I had the slower lap time, which resulted me in starting in 4th place in the grand final, which is what you'll see next, so enjoy. So here is the start of the grand final. Sat in the pit lane, and in a moment you will start seeing me absolutely smacking my foot and just being anxious in general, since I'm starting in 4th place in the grand final, and in my head I just know, like, I need to overtake someone, I need to do something to get at least 3rd place to get through to nationals. However, you'll see by the end of the race what ends up happening, so enjoy. So after that long wait in the pit lane, we're finally being gridded up for the rolling start. On the left you can see another great friend of mine, Anthony Deverell, who's waving me to go forward in front of him. And yeah, just being gridded up for the rolling start here. So what you'll start to see in this race already is the driver in P1 ends up shooting off, and Ricky Crozier, who is a Manchester Trafford driver, big up Manny, ends up having a very slow car, and he's defending the train behind him very, very well. So yeah, enjoy. you'll start to see in a second is I get dive bombed on the inside by this driver in black and red, and then another driver on my right who's in orange ends up doing a funky move here. In the barrier. Okay. And yeah, we end up going yellow and then red. We have sweet Damon in front of us as well. So crazy. So everyone gets a bit confused here about what's happening next. If I remember correctly, what happened due to the red light is, for BIKC rules, they restart the rolling start based on the last lap positions. This really benefited me on the day since I was in 6th position due to the crash, and since going back to the last lap positions put me back in 4th, so I had a bit of a better run in to get to nationals, so yes. And also here, Sweet Damon actually asks the clerk for the day, Jen, to let me in front of him, but I don't think he was aware that the positions restarted from the last lap anyways, so I get to go in front anyways, so he's just so sweet for that. Big up Damon in the comment section. So now we're finally continuing the race for the grand final, and I'll give you a little bit of a hint about what happens next. The driver in front of me in P3 ends up getting multiple warnings for weaving, so if you have seen already, you'll see some more. But yes, it's a little bit of a hint about what happens at the end. what you're about to see now is the driver in front of me in P3 ends up getting a penalty for the continuous weaving throughout the race. So since I was so close behind him, I ended up finishing the race in P3. And I was very distraught about this. I didn't want to get through to nationals this way, and the day I did, and you'll be able to see my raw reactions at the end of the video. But yeah, it was a very fun and intense race. I think there's one more lap left to go as well, so I'll let you finish that and then we'll go to the end. Finally, that is our race done. I ended up finishing the race in P3. As I said, the driver in front ended up getting a penalty for continuous weaving. You'll be able to see my raw reactions in a moment, again as I mentioned, and we are congratulated again by our very favourite Damon. Big up Damon. But as I said, he gets the nationals as well, so it's a win-win for both of us. And yeah, as you can see here, I'm absolutely shocked that I ended up in P3. I ended up spending a bit of time in the car just taking everything in. But yeah, it was an absolutely amazing day. Lots of ups and downs, especially with having good karts and bad karts. That's probably one of the most annoying things about rental karts is parity. However, even though it's annoying, it's part of racing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching if you got this far. I'll be posting a lot more racing content on this channel, including rental karting, owner karting, everything in between. So yeah, subscribe if that's what you want to see more of. See you guys later.